Welcome to Tibara's Den. My name is Whitney and welcome to another speed build. We are with our girl Skylar here, who is our veterinarian sim. We finished up the Taurus portion of our Zodiac series last week and we're starting the Gemini portion next week. So we kind of had a bonus week, and since I used to work in a veterinary clinic, I decided I wanted to go ahead and make a veterinary sim and also do her veterinary clinic. So that's what we are doing this week. If you haven't seen Monday's videos, please check it out. I'll leave it linked in the description below. But basically, we created her, and then we also did a speed build for her home. And then today, obviously, we're working on the clinic. So, like I said, I used to work in a veterinary clinic, so I already had an idea of what I wanted to do. And I've actually built a veterinary clinic in The Sims 4 before, in one of my save files where I was actually playing in. I did a veterinary clinic and had a full clinic and played in it quite a bit. So I already knew the layout and kind of what I wanted in here. It's a little bit different from the one I did previously, but also very, very similar as far as what went into the build itself. And yeah, I really like how it turned out. I decided to keep it on the same lot that the original clinic was on, and I almost wish I had a little bit more space. I would have made more kennel space if I had, but I knew I wanted some yard space and I wanted some training space. I actually used to train dogs as well. Still really enjoy doing it kind of more as a hobby, but I like the idea. You actually get quite a lot of training questions working in a veterinary clinic, and it's not necessarily something that the staff is educated on. And so I like the idea that she takes that part kind of seriously as well, and either maybe has an outside trainer come in or, offers the services herself, but she's been educated and knows kind of what she's offering. So, and also just having a little yard where people can take their little dogs to play while they're waiting for their appointment, or maybe they live in the area and they don't have like a yard somewhere, so it's kind of like a little dog park as well. I kind of like that idea. And then I also put a lot of kennels in here, even though the Sims 4 don't utilize it. Obviously you need kennel space in a veterinary clinic, and I also like the idea that maybe she offers some dogs and cats for adoption if somebody owner surrenders them or something like that. Both clinics I actually worked at, both of them, one ran the city shelter for a long time and the other one just worked really closely with the shelter. And so I kind of like the idea that they have dogs that they take in and are for adoption and things like that as well. So I was kind of trying to combine all the different aspects of the doggy world. The only thing I wish I had is like chain link for the top of the kennels, because that is definitely a must when you have dogs that you need a kennel. Oftentimes you have dogs that are kind of escape artists, and so you need kennels that are a little bit more secure. Obviously not an option in The Sims 4, and obviously not something that is even a problem in The Sims 4, but I just would have liked that to make it a little bit more realistic. Just unfortunately that wasn't an option, so that's what we're working with. But we have the kennels here on the side. I did the large dog area, and then I also have 4 of them for the small dog as well. And like I said, this might be dogs that are boarding to get some outside time. They would also take them out into the yard to play a little bit, but when they obviously can't supervise, they would put them in the kennels. But obviously a little fresh air would be good as well. And I know, we had outside kennels for the dogs where I worked, and the boarding dogs we would put out there. Obviously you have to be careful if you have any like sick dogs or anything like that. You can't necessarily utilize a bunch of different kennels because you don't want to spread any diseases or anything like that. And like I said, that would be an option when the weather's nice for keeping dogs that are maybe out for adoption or things like that. So that's kind of what we're working with. And then like I said, I do have some separate yards. So the backyard there is for the vet staff and the dogs that are actually in the vet clinic for them to take out and kind of exercise. And then you have the front 2 yards, one's more for training, and then the little yard is more like a little doggy yard for people that are waiting for their appointment. They can take their dogs in there and play a little bit, or I'm sure she'd be fine if somebody who lived in the area wanted to utilize it for their dog if they don't have a yard themselves. So I wanted to put in a parking lot. You can see there I thought about doing that, but then I realized there's no actual road. It's kind of like a courtyard area in front of the vet clinic, and so it didn't make sense to have a parking lot because there's really no way for the cars to get there. So in the end, I put like some picnic tables and such, but it was a little bit frustrating. And then you can see here I'm doing all the different obstacles for the little training area, and I actually extend that out a little bit because I also wanted an area where maybe if they're not running obstacles, they're just doing like basic obedience, that they have a little seating area and a clear area where they can work on some basic obedience and things like that. So just kind of playing around with it, trying to see what works. And you can see I did a double gate, so you walk in and then you either go to the small dog yard or the training yard, but that helps prevent doggies escaping as you're entering, one of the yards if there's already a dog in there, which I think is definitely necessary and very, very important and very realistic. And then I thought about putting a gate into the actual vet clinic yard, but I didn't want just Sims off the street going into that yard, and so I ended up not, and just having a gate in the back where they could bring the dogs from the building itself. So that's kind of what we're working with. I don't do this little front area yet because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with it, so we are going to come back to that. But first, of course, I need some windows, and I try to keep it very like businessy. I didn't want anything like, you need secure windows, so I didn't want like a lot of different types of windows or fancy windows, so I just used these windows here, and I just kind of went all the way around. I forget a door, but I moved one of the windows and added a door going out to the back, and obviously the kennel in the yard area, but I forget that for the moment, but it does get added here in a little bit. And so you can see my different layout. You walk in and you have like the reception, and I'm going to put like some food and such, and then on either side you have the dog and the cat area, and then in the back, after you have to go through the hallway to get to it, you have like the working area. So, and then over here is the cat and dog kennels, and I really struggled with this because I didn't want dogs walking past the cats, but I was struggling with the amount of room I had, and so I ended up doing a little bit of a hallway going in between. And then I also needed an isolation area. That's very important, and so this outside kennel area is the isolation area, and then the smaller kennels are the cats, and then the bigger 4 kennels are the dogs. And I just make a little bit of a hallway because I knew, like I said, you wouldn't walk the dogs directly past the cats, but I like this layout specifically because obviously you also need to get the dogs outside, and so you wouldn't want the cats at that end, because then you would still have to walk past them to get the dogs outside. And so I decided to just make a little hallway, so a little snug, but it works. And like I said, if I had more room, I would have extended the kennel area so it wouldn't have been quite so tight, but this is kind of what I was working with, and I wanted to make sure I had plenty of room for the yards as well. So I think it does work. It's just, it is a little snug in some areas, but that's okay. That's not a problem. And so back here is going to be the staff bathroom and like the staff break room. And so I wanted to put the bathroom in there, and then you do have 2 bathrooms up front, one for the cat area and one for the dog area as well. And I'm just kind of trying to figure out my wallpaper and see kind of what I wanted to do as far as that goes. Obviously in the kennel areas you need walls that are pretty easy to clean, and same thing like in the whole clinic, you're going to need walls that are more tile and kind of easier to clean. I mean, you can have regular like what is it called, geez, I'm drawing a blank, drywall and have it painted, but it does make it harder to clean sometimes. I know that firsthand, but obviously it's not a huge deal. But in the kennel areas, you definitely need something you can hose down. So we are working on the bathroom here first in the staff area. Always need a shower. Like I said, you're working with animals, you're gonna get gross. So every veterinary clinic I've worked in, you have a shower. I don't know so much like in ones that are solely like small animals, but mixed animal practice or large animals, like you need a shower. So there's of course the shower, and then I do like a little laundry basket for any towels or anything like that, or dirty clothes. Most of the time, like as veterinary staff, if we needed to change, we would just take our clothes home to wash. But like doctors coveralls or anything like that, they would leave for us to wash. So and then out here you have the fridges for like the veterinary products like vaccines and whatnot, and then you have a fridge in the break room. You're not supposed to keep, it's actually a health violation. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. Like it's been a while since I've been in the field, but you can't keep human food with like the animal stuff, and so you have to have a separate fridge for that. And so you can see we have this break room fridge, and then you have the fridges in the main working area where you keep like vaccines and any medicines and things like that that needed to be kept cold. Those would be in the fridges that are on the outside. I thought about going with these blue blinds, but I just didn't like it. Was kind of clashing a little bit. So in the end, I go with a beige. I kept it very kind of neutral. Which I think, I mean, it works. It's kind of blah, but it works. So but yeah, and of course I put some laundry in there. Definitely have to have laundry, especially to watch like pet stuff like bedding and whatnot. You definitely need a laundry area, and so I just put that in the break room. That one I figured was the best place for it. And then in here is the doctor's office, so I did two separate desks. I figured this could be like a two doctor practice. And so you have Skylar's area, and then you're gonna have like the other doctor's area, or if she has like a visiting doctor or anything like that, they would utilize that. And that might also be like the tech desk where they type in notes and things as well. And then of course she probably brings her little critters to work, so I wanted some beds in there as well, one for the dog Gemini and one for the cat Cosmo. And so this is the cat area, so I just did a little cat tower where they could lay, and then I did the litter boxes and some bowls. And then these are the dog kennels. I just did some big dog kennels. I didn't do anything for the small dogs, but they could easily go in there as well. And then in the isolation room, I kept it pretty simple. This is not how you would have it laid out, but I just did a cat kennel and a dog kennel. For the isolation room, obviously you would have them separate, and you would also kind of have a bigger area. I doubt they would just get one dog or one cat at a time. So you would have a bigger area, but obviously I didn't have that, and so that's what you are working with. And then you have the wet table out there, which you see I just lifted up a bathtub and put that on. I'm going to jump out here, but I'll still talk about kind of the little work area. And so a wet table is where like you do surgery prep or you do dental cleanings, things like that. And it has water attached, so it's a tub, but normally you have like a grate over the top. I probably could have come up with something that resembled that, but I just didn't have the patience or the time to figure that out. And so it's just a bathtub that's lifted up onto some counters, but you would always have like some kind of grid that you could like lay the dog on. And you can see I had to jump back out because I needed more money. I ran out of money during the build, and it's not about playing the game and having her earn money and slowly building up. Like, I want to do the build, so I was perfectly happy to cheat the money. And you can see here, like I said, I jumped back out here to kind of figure out what I wanted to do and just trying to figure that out. And so I did some picnic tables. There's some benches as well. I'm working on the terrain paint to make it look like walking paths and just kind of blend everything. And so that's kind of just what we're doing here. And then of course we're going to add some trees to make it a little bit more pretty and not so blah looking outside. But yeah, nothing too fancy out here. I do some bushes, and then I liked the idea of kind of blocking off where it goes around to the outside kennels. So I'm trying to figure out how to put a bush there and trying to figure out which bush works. And then I decided I wanted the lamp over here as well. And of course, they have the little kitty cat mailbox. I told you guys I would do a kitty cat in the vet clinic because I did the dog mailbox for the main home. But I put that big rose bush there to kind of block off, and that way people can't walk around. Obviously, coming from outside the lot, they could easily go peek at the dogs and such. But again, it's The Sims. It's not real life, even though I'm trying to make it as real as possible. And so yeah, that's kind of what we're working with. And you can see I put the dog sign to symbolize which area was the dog area, and then the cat area is obviously on the other side. And then every vet clinic has like a little retail area where they sell like prescription foods and things like that. And so that's what we're working with out here. And then I have like the little vending machines, which I do need to fill. I think when I play her next time, I'm just going to work on that. I'm not going to open the clinic at all. I'm going to just make a bunch of products to put in the refrigerators. And then since it's a 2 doctor practice, I like the idea of having several receptionists. So I put 3 separate receptionist desks, and also I could see the techs, utilizing the computers and such up there as well, again, to type their notes and things like that. So it's just kind of a staff area, not just reception. And then of course I'm going to utilize all the different posters in the different areas. To kind of just brighten up the place. You go in a veterinary clinic, you're going to see all kinds of educational posters and things like that. So that's kind of what we're working with here. And then just adding it to the different areas. The cat area, I'm doing cat stuff. Dog area, I'm doing dog stuff. And just kind of keeping it separate. This is going to be the surgery suite here. So you have the little machine where they spay and neuter. And then of course, now I'm just adding in the exam tables. I decided to go with this green because I thought it worked well with like the overall yellow color I was going for. And so that's why I went. And you see I use these carpets. So on the cat side I put a no dogs carpet, and on the dog side I put a no cats carpet. And it's really easy to do it and have it separate. Sometimes the people go in the wrong area and like check in, but because if you lock the doors, so I lock the doors for everybody, or all cats, so only dogs will enter that door and vice versa. So the people may go on the wrong side, but when it comes time to check in the cats because their cat or dog can't go on that side, then they'll move over to the correct side, if that makes sense. And then of course the other doors I locked for everybody but staff members, and that way the people weren't just wandering back. And then the same thing for like the different kennel areas. I either locked for dogs or cats depending on who I wanted in there. So yeah, that's kind of what we're working with. And then I'm just putting a bunch of pictures around. So I used these nice custom content animal pictures I had and put them around as well, kind of more in the back area, like the office and the break room and such, than in like where the staff were or where the guests were, the clients, just because we kind of have like the more educational posters and such out in the guest area. So that's what we're working with. I put a diploma, and I also added this thing here because you always have like your doctor's like diploma, and then you also have like the business license and things. So I wanted to make sure that was represented as well. And then a clock in every room. Obviously the doctor wears a watch, but sometimes you need a clock as well. Like maybe your watch died or it broke or something like that. So you always want to have that backup if you're taking a heart rate or whatnot. So, and this is where the x-ray, and then I decided like the treadmill, they do have like doggy treadmills and such, not necessarily in most vet clinics, but I thought, just to kind of make it a little bit more doctory, they might do like a stress test. And then I used the x-ray machine from Get to Work. Even though it doesn't work on dogs, I still like the idea of having that. I wish they had done a dog one for this pack, because they have like the doggy and kitty x-rays, so it would have been nice if they had done one. But I'm just going to do my walkthrough real quick and show you guys kind of the layout walking through it. Obviously it's kind of quick, but you saw kind of how it was laid out in the beginning anyway, so I'm just kind of making the overall loop. And then there are a ton of screenshots, not only of the different rooms, but also of her when I was playing her and treating some pets. So I hope you will stay tuned through the end so you can see all the different cute screenshots. Like I said, there is a lot. I start with, of course, the different building screenshots so you can kind of see the details and whatnot. But then I end with some of her actually treating some of her patients, which is so cute. Like I said, I really, really enjoyed playing her so far, and she's definitely one I think I'm going to play with going forward once I start playing in the save file more. I'm really excited to have her in the save file. And yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know things you would have done different, things you like that I did. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys here for the rest of the screenshots. Remember to check back on Monday where we start our Gemini series, our portion of the Zodiac series. We'll start that on Monday, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.